guys, it's Jeff
and Richard
from Pressure Luck. And this one's going to be a Richard video. A lot of people request him to do videos, and I don't think there's any better video than to have this guy do one that's going to be focused on the New Year, which is a very traditional, well, it's really a pair of Southern dishes that go together. And you can do one or the other, but we're going to put them both in one recipe. We actually got 2 for 1 this time, 2 foods. And Richard, I'm going to leave it over to you. Tell us what we're making today.
All right, we're making the traditional Southern dish to have a lucky and prosperous New Year. Those are black-eyed peas and collard greens. Or you can make turnips if you want. Any greens of some sort are the traditional thing to eat at on New Year's Day. So we'll be doing black-eyed peas and collard greens. The symbolism of black-eyed peas and collard greens is that the peas represent coins that you'll make in the new year, and the collard greens represent the dollar bills. And the best thing to eat this with is cornbread, which represents the gold.
Now, you're not going to cook them in the same pot, by the way. You can either do this simultaneously if you have 2 Instant Pots, I know a lot of people do, or you can simply do one right after the other and cook it that way. And it's totally fine. You can just warm them up really quickly. It's going to start off your year beautifully. So guys, without any more delaying, Richard, let's get to that Instant Pot and let's have you begin. All right.
Okay, we're going to start with about a pound of collards. You can do a little more if you want, but make sure they're rinsed. If they're from a farm and they've got dirt on them, make sure to soak them either overnight or for several hours, and just make sure they're clean like this when you're done. So rinse them really well. So you can see they're very clean, but we're going to lose this end of the stalk without the leaves. So we're going to cut or break even. You can just snap it off like that. And we're only going to focus on this portion of the leaf. So I'm going to cut them up with, I'm going to do it with kitchen shears, just because it's simple, it's fast, and you want to cut them up pretty small. Go over these a few times just so they're small pieces. I kind of roll them up a little bit sometimes, or slice down the leaf before I chop them, and that way they're in smaller pieces already. You don't want them to be too big. Just think of how big a piece you want to eat. And now that I'm done cutting up my collards, we're going to set them aside. Now I'm going to cut up 6 cloves of garlic. Oh, look, Jeff, I can do it too now. You're just going to cut these up very coarsely. So I have 1 large white onion. I'm going to use half of this for the collards and half for the black-eyed peas. And dice it up. We're going to take a few thick slices of pork belly. This is 1.5 pounds worth. And use 1 thick slice for the collards and the other for the peas. If you have an extra like I do, you can divide it among each or save for something else. So I'm going to take a piece of pork belly, I'm going to cut that hard strip off the side and chop this up. Now I'm just going to trim that super thick fat padding off that pork belly and just dice it up into good sized chunks. So I'm going to come down here to the control panel and I'm going to hit the saute button and make sure it's on the medium or normal setting. And if it's not, I can hit the adjust button. And so we're going to let that heat up and we're going to cook that pork belly just a hair, just so it starts sweating. So I'm going to toss my pork belly in here and I'm going to saute it for just maybe a couple of minutes. Now you don't want to fully cook this, you just want to make it sweat a good bit. And by sweat I just mean release some of the oil from the meat. Looks like it's actually enough. I don't want it to cook too well. So to make these collards really pop and have that pork flavor we all love, we are using some pork, but we're also jazzing it up with some ham base. And Better Than Bouillon makes ham base. You can find this online and if maybe in your store. So if you can't find it, you can use chicken base. I'm going to be using 4 cups of this stuff. So that'll be 4 teaspoons of base mixed with 4 cups of water. Now we're going to add our garlic and our onions. And I'm stirring it up. And now finally, of course, the greens. Add them all in, kind of mush them down into that liquid some. Yeah, and don't worry if it's too much at the top, it's gonna cook down to hardly anything. All right, so we're gonna put our lid on, close it, sealing mode. So I'm gonna come back down to the control panel and I'm gonna hit the keep warm or cancel button. So I'm gonna hit the manual button or the pressure cook button, depending on your model. I'm gonna make sure it's at 60 minutes. You can use the plus and minus to get there. Make sure it's at high pressure, and that's it. We're gonna come back and check on it when it's done. And now that it's done cooking, we're going to do a quick release. So now the pin has dropped, we're going to take the lid off. And that's what collard greens look like. Oh my god, they look amazing. So depending on how salty your broth made the greens, you may need a little more. I'm just going to put a little bit in my hand, a little kosher salt, like that much. It's probably, I don't know, 1/4 teaspoon, 1/2 teaspoon. our pork belly wasn't smoked, so it's not going to add as much salt. Let's put that in there as some porks will. The liquid you see is called pot liquor among us Southerners. You see a little bit of the pieces of pork floating in there. That's fine. You can. Some people like to eat them. Some people like to pick them out. Whatever you want to do, your business. Goes great with some cornbread. Yeah, collards should be like this liquidy. What you're really going to enjoy is the liquid. It's when you have cornbread, you sop up that juice in the cornbread with a pot liquor, and it's super tasty. The good thing about pot liquor is that it's kind of amazing. I mean, like the flavors are just it's everything you liked about the greens, but it's just a liquid that I could probably drink it out of a cup. When my granddad was still alive, God rest his soul, he would ask for more pot liquor and cornbread after dessert and eat some more after that. So it's like a post-dessert dessert if you're a true Southerner. All right, now we're ready to serve this up. All right, so I'm gonna make a bowl of collard greens here. Want a lot of juice in there, especially if you've got cornbread, but you don't want it like necessarily swimming in there.
Pot liquor? Well, pot liquor?
You want the pot liquor. I mean, once you try pot liquor, you're not going back to regular liquor.
Yeah, right.
So this is the piece de resistance to me. So these are pickled peppers. I got this from an international market. You can get them almost anywhere, really. Just all it really needs to be is a type of mild pepper pickled in vinegar. This is totally optional. We call this pepper sauce where I'm from. So you just drizzle a little of that like peppered vinegar on top of it.
The pepper itself in there?
I don't put the pepper itself, just the vinegar.
All right, so let me try these collards now. Collard greens, they call them, with there's some pork belly in here now too. These are some greens I would eat every day. Very good. Here, your turn to try some of them. Hang on, I'll give you.
I might want a spoon for that pot liquor.
There you go.
Go for fun.
Really good. From what I understand also, you're gonna wanna let these cool down for a little bit. Don't eat them right out of the pot because it's really gonna be obviously very hot. Flavors come together after they sit for about 5 to 10 minutes and cool down some. Cool down some. I'm already sounding like a Southerner. And that's when the flavors meld, and also you're not going to burn your mouth. So that's a really good way to do it. Again, you could do this simultaneously if you're using 2 pots, if you have 2 pots, or you can do one right after the other. No big deal. Now that we're done with the collards, we're going to move on to the peas. And like Jeff said, if you have 2 pots, you can do these at the same time. So do start the collards first because they have a 60-minute cooking time with a quick release. And the beans have a 30-minute cooking time with a 30-minute natural release. So if you start them at the same time, they'll be ready at the same time. But if you don't have 2 pots, don't worry about it. You can just reheat the collards when the peas are done. So for the peas, we're going to use 3 cups of chicken base and 3 cups of ham base. For each cup of broth, you need 1 teaspoon of base. And now I'm going to add that in. 3 cups of chicken broth, 3 cups of ham broth. Or you can use all chicken broth if you want. Now we're going to add in the beans. That's 1 pound black-eyed peas, dry. And by that I mean dried in a bag, not pre-canned, and you don't even have to soak them. Stir those in. And we're going to add our pork belly and our onion. Half an onion, half a large white onion. And stir it all up. Okay, so to make sure your beans are extra lucky for the coming year, you want to add an unusual ingredient, and that is a penny. My penny is clean because Jeff's a little squeamish, and it's from 2017. So we're going to drop that in the pot and secure our lid. So I'm using the Ultra for this, so I don't even have to seal it. It automatically does it for me. So coming to the control panel on the Ultra, we're going to set it to pressure cook, and we're going to set it for 30 minutes on high pressure and start. And now we're going to do a 30-minute natural release. That means we wait until the time elapsed shows 30 minutes and then follow with a quick release. And now that 30 minutes have elapsed, we're going to do a quick release. So the pen has dropped and we're going to open it up. Yeah, got those peas, you got the onions floated to the top a little bit. You're going to stir it up. Some pork in there. Those look very tasty. So if you want these firm, you can cook them for 20 minutes and do a 20-minute natural release. If you want them a little softer, 30 minutes cooking time and 30 minutes natural release. We like them soft.
We like them soft. So we did 30 minutes and 30 minutes. So as they cool, the flavors come together more and the broth gets in there a little more and they taste even better. So let them for cool for a few minutes. Needs more penny.
And where's that penny, Richard? How do you find the penny?
It's in there somewhere. You usually find it when you transfer it. Or if it gets in your bowl, which I guess means you have really good luck. Just don't swallow it or you have bad luck. And now I'm going to fix myself a bowl of the peas. And oops, I'm dripping a little bit. Make sure I get some onions, some pork. Get a little juice in there. Don't have to get too much juice. It's good. All right, now what I like to add to these, one of these things you Southerners will know about is chow chow. I got this when we were back in Alabama last week. It's Mrs. Campbell's. I don't know where they make this one, in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Now there are different types of chow chow. This is the Southern style chow chow, which is mostly cabbage and onions and a little bit of pepper and some vinegar. It is quite amazing on this. I used to eat it in college. I would put it on cheddar cheese and crackers. In Pennsylvania, they have a different type of chow chow that has cauliflower and big chunks of vegetables in it. That's not what I'm talking about for peas.
It's essentially Southern relish.
Yeah, it's a relish.
But it's like a yellow relish as opposed to a green
this
relish.
is what it looks like out of the jar. I'll just spoon me a couple little forks over the top of it. And many of you will like it like that. Now, I go one step further, and this is going to be what makes the negative comments on this video pop up, is that I put a little bit of mayonnaise on top.
But not only any kind of mayonnaise, what kind
But
of
not any kind of mayonnaise. Duke's mayonnaise. Use Duke's. If you can find it, if you can't, whatever, use whatever you have. But Duke's mayonnaise is the best.
And you mix that up with it, together with it?
Now stir that up a little bit. Just I let it kind of stay on top. Just kind of swirl it a little. And then that is phenomenal. And here we go. That was something else. I want more chow chow. Where's that?
Alright, so Richard made these, so I'm gonna give him a try. This Northern Yankee who likes the Mets. Let's see how we're doing here. Yeah, it's nice and soft, and it's like, you know, they're perfectly cooked. From beans that were completely dried in a bag to not having to soak them to cooking them right in the pot. I mean, that's alone should sell you on this thing. This thing is incredible for that. It really took no time at all. And that ham base in there mixed with the chicken broth, it's absolutely perfect. I love it. And you got some of the pork belly in there and the onions. Here.
That's good.
Yeah?
It's almost smoky.
You have a lot riding on this now because you're from the South. So if people who are from the South are going to be making this, you have to really, you know, they're gonna know if you're fooling them.
Yeah, well, I'm not fooling anybody.
You could fool me. I'm not from the South. It's easier for me to be like, oh, that's what it tastes like, you know. But
no, these are great. And making dry beans, from dry beans to these in what, an hour is amazing. Everyone forgets on New Year's. You have a little too much champagne. You forgot your beans. You wake up 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. You're like, oh man, you know, expletive. I forgot my beans. Peas. They're peas.
I do that every night.
Yeah.
But again, you could do this simultaneously if you're using 2 pots, if you have 2 pots, or you can do one right after the other. No big deal. You know, and these are really very, very much set it and forget it recipes. They could not be easier to make, and they save so much time than doing them on the traditional stovetop as you would have back in the day.
Oh look, I found the penny.
Oh, he found the penny. You want to eat it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, it's a good luck penny. That's such a nice clean penny. You know, I hate filthy change in my food.
Yes.
Alright. And this guy did an amazing job. Let's hear it for him right now.
Oh, thank you.
You're amazing. Guys, thank you so much. Happy New Year. And for more quick recipes that are really easy to follow and that feature, you know, from time to time a fun guest like him, please go to pressurelovecooking.com. Every recipe has really easy to follow ingredients, and each one is accompanied by an easy to follow video, just like this one. It runs the gamut from healthy to comfort, from vegan to carnivore. I have it all. Go to facebook.com/pressurelovecooking and like the page, and subscribe to me on YouTube at pressureluck, on Twitter, all that stuff. You don't want to miss all of the amazing things and updates that are going to be coming out. The page is going really, really well, so thank you so much for all your support. It's an amazing, amazing time, and again, thank you so much. And you know, that penny might be bringing some good luck after all. So
let's hope so.
Let's hope so. To everybody out there, Happy New Year, healthy, peaceful, and may everybody get what they want in the new year. Thank you so much, guys.
Happy New Year.
All right.